I've talked about a few aspects of our concerns in terms of delivering food in conflict situations, what we're looking at, what our concerns are, the different factors that might impact our ability to target the most vulnerable population. Using all those issues and such, I want to illustrate now a very concrete example of an operation that I was personally involved in a few years back in Namibia and Angola. This is the Angolan border with Namibia at a place called Bongani. During the time of the civil war in Angola between the central government, the MPLA, it was called, the central government in Luanda, and a liberation movement, they call themselves UNITA, who was basically fighting to take over the country. This is at the border, and we have a plan to, through food convoys, to bring food up to a number of the populations most affected on the Angolan side. Our counterparts, that is the WFP counterparts in Luanda, were not able to access this part of the country because they were considered to be on the other side. So they asked us in Namibia if we would set up and manage these food convoys out of Namibia through, over the border and through this part of Angola that was essentially a war zone. And we're here now, yours truly, a few years back, and I'm negotiating with the commanders of the UNITA region here at the border. This is Jonas Savimbi, who was at that time the head of the movement and of UNITA. And we're having a discussion about the terms and conditions that we needed to have met in order for us to cross the border at this point. This is a lawless area. There are minefields everywhere. This is not a normal border crossing. There actually was no border crossing at all normally at this time during the war. And this is where there had been 20 years of conflict between the South Africans in the apartheid era and the Angolans as well. So this has been a major war zone area for many years. So what I had to do in this particular situation is I'm sitting in our vehicle at the border, and I'm on our high frequency radio. We could talk to, Rome, even if we had to, many miles away. And I am talking with our director in Luanda, who in turn is talking with the head of UNITA, who was in Washington, D.C., and there was someone else in New York City. And we're all talking to each other here and there to assure that everyone was agreed that we could cross the border and they were not going to shoot. That was the whole idea. So we had to get the agreement from the central government in Luanda, which my colleague, my country director counterpart in Luanda was doing, and we had to get that all signed off verbally by the political people who were in Washington, D.C. at the time. And so I'm sitting at the radio, and we're back and forth, and at one point we got the go-ahead that we could then leave. As we're getting ready to go, I walked over the border myself, and this is the UNITA commander on the other side showing me where we can store the food for the first night before we actually go further up into the country. This convoy would take many weeks. There are virtually no roads in this area, and it would all be overland. When we got an agreement to go then, this is my deputy at the time, John Prout, and he's shaking hands with the South African contractors that we had hired, and these are the vehicles, and these are 8-wheel drive vehicles. There's drive functioning for all the axles. These vehicles are able to run anywhere. You see we have our WFP and UN flags, the blue flags and the logo, and again this is a sign that we are a humanitarian relief convoy and that we are to be allowed to pass. Don't shoot at us, don't take our food, allow us to get to where we need to go. There's a lot of faith involved, and back then I think we had a little more faith than we would at times today. But this is the kind of level of detail that we need to get into. And then after, I'm at the warehouse having an interview with the local media, and this is always something that's very, very important for us is to publicize what it is that we're doing. Not because we're looking for credit, we're looking for someone to think, oh, aren't they doing a great job? The point is simply that we need to show credibly that we are able to do what we say that we will do. And then we need to show the media that we're actually doing it. Remember, everything that we get, the broad we again, all the humanitarian agencies, the NGOs, the UN, WFP, what we get is all voluntarily contributed to us based on the confidence that our donors have that we can deliver, that we can actually do what we say we will do in these difficult conflict situations. So this is the Namibia Public Television here, the cameraman, and then I'm being interviewed by the reporter. There's one of our vehicles there on the left, and our food supplies there. And I'm just explaining what our logistics strategy would be. Again, not for her, but for the world, those who are going to be following this. Back at the embassies in Windhoek, for example, the capital of Namibia, up in Luanda, this is all being followed. Okay, can these UN people, WFP in this case, can they really pull this off?